Hi, good morning everyone. So this video is focused on a brief explanation on the IFE matrix. Some of you have indicated that I should make a video on the explanation of this particular matrix. So here it is. IFE stands for Internal Factor Evaluation, or in other words, organizational analysis. So the main concern of this IFE is to identify and develop an organization's resources and capabilities, or to develop its competencies. So the resources are both tangible and intangible, and the main reason for this, another part of the reason for this IFE is to for the firm to identify strategies or its strengths, so that this strength cannot be easily matched or imitated by the competitors. So this is the steps to come up with the IFE matrix. There are 5 steps altogether. In explaining this, let's go to the next slide. So this is how an IFE matrix looks like when it's done. This is in this particular slide is an example of a Facebook case study. The case study is in your textbook. Now, the first step in here is to identify the key internal factors. Key internal factors include strengths and weaknesses. As identified, the internal audit process. Internal audit process is a process whereby you scrutinize the organization internally. Now, when you look for the strength, you ask a question: what does the company do or have better than the competitors? And in identifying the weaknesses, you ask questions like which areas of the company could improve on. So this way, you'd be more focused as to identifying what are the weaknesses, what are the strengths. Now, a lot of you have asked questions. How many factors should I identify? Okay, that's a very good question. Now, my answer is to try your best to identify at least 10 to 20 internal factors, or as many as you can. All right. In here is it's 8 to 10, but try to identify as many as you can. Now, this is recommended because at the end of this, you'd have a well-informed decision as to which factor to retain and which one to eliminate, or which factor to assign a low rate and a low weight, and which factor to assign a high weight. The next step is assigning the weight. Okay, so weight ranges from 0 as not important, and 1 as all important. So assigning the weight to each and every one of the factors that you have identified. Weights are industry-based, so the need for you to scrutinize what affecting factors and decision put forth by opinions by analysts in the industry. What you have read about this company in the industry. So with this information, your group will then make the decision or assign a weight based on the given information. The number or the weight is significant as it indicates the importance of the factor, what the company values in succeeding in the industry. So get what it means, like the weight that you provide is significant. It's not just merely like, okay, whims and fancy, I will just put any weightage. It's not like that. So it's a well-informed decision, as in you have analyzed the organization, therefore you have identified which is important and which is not important. Now, if there were no weights assigned, all the factors would be the same. So this is not very practical in the real world. The sum of all the weights must equal to 1, right? This is right here. So when you add all these all these factors, it must equal to 1. This is the rule of the thumb. Now the third step here is to assign a rating. Assign a 1 to 4 rating to each factor. Okay, so rating basically refers to how strong or weak each of the chosen factor is related to the organization. Okay, now for strength, it must receive a rating of 3 or 4. And for weaknesses, it must receive a rating of 1 or 2. Yeah, so ratings are company based. It reflects how well the company addresses a particular factor. Now, company ratings are company based as opposed to weights are industry based. Okay. So you'll need to give rating for each and every one of the factors that you have identified or selected, again based on the analysis of the organization. Now the fourth step is to multiply each factor's weight by its rating to determine a weighted score. The receiver can actually receive the same total score from 1 to 4 in both matrices, in both strength and weaknesses. So step 4 is right here. You go ahead, it's right here. So you go ahead and multiply this, and it totals to this. Yeah. Now the last step, the fifth step, is to sum the weighted scores for each factor to determine the total weighted score for the organization. So this is a total weighted score, and what you do is to sum up all these to get this. Okay, so right here is 3.3 is the total weighted score. Now what does that signify? This is the question that you'd have to be asking. What does that mean? Now the total score of 2.5 is an average score. Okay, so anything below 2.4 basically indicates that the company is weak against its competitors, or not effective in taking advantage of opportunities, or in defending against its threats. So that basically means the company needs to improve on strategies and focus on taking advantage of opportunities. Yeah. So in here, this is an example of Facebook. The total weighted score is 3.03. So this basically indicates that the company's current performance in terms of profitability and market share is quite strong. Yeah. So this is the basic guidelines of how to come up with the IFE matrix. Okay, so very important, the first step. Okay, without the first step, you cannot proceed to second step or even go further. All right. Okay, now this is I'm gonna stop right here. The next discussion or explanation would be on the IFE matrix.